Welcome back to Hilltop Stovetop. And today we're going to be talking about stuffing, in particular for the turkey, but it can be for chicken or for any other sort of meat that you want. The other thing about stuffing is a lot of people buy these prepackaged stuffing just because they like the flavor of it. So today the way I'm going to show you how to make your stuffing is something that you can use even if you don't have a turkey or a chicken. You can go ahead and make this separately, and I'll show you how to cook it all on its own. And then you can have it as a side dish for any kind of occasion, because this is fabulous stuffing. It is so simple, and that anybody can do it, you'll want to have it all the time. As a matter of fact, when we make it at our house, I always make a giant bowl of it because we end up eating it just the way it is. There's nothing in it that is going to be a problem to eat before it's cooked. It is just that delicious. The recipe for this, the ingredients are actually in the description below, but I've gone ahead and pre-made this. I've chopped up all the bits, and we're ready to go with the mixing of this. So I'm going to start over here with our bowl of stuffing, which has got celery, onions, bread crusts, and I just went to the bakery and got the crusts that were just in a big bag. It's way cheaper than actually buying a whole loaf of bread and cutting it up and drying it. So that's a simple way to go, and there's lots of butter in this. But if you were putting this in the turkey, the moisture from the turkey is going to hold that all together. So we have to add some moisture. So what we're going to do here is I've got about 2 cups of chicken broth here. That's going to add the moisture to it. So we're just going to dump that into the top. And then I also have 3 eggs. And what that's going to do is act as a binding agent. So when we put this all together, it will hold as it's being baked. And I have washed my hands before this started, because this is the part where we kind of get a little messy. We're just going to get in with our hands and muck this all together. We do end up with it's a little bit moist and sloppy, but we're going to take a handful of this. It's almost like a giant meatball. And I've got my cookie sheet here with parchment paper on it, and we're just going to put a little bit of that in there. And I almost probably should have a little more bread in this, but I think it'll still work. And so each one of these is going to be about 1 serving. And so we mixed all this up, but it turned out I was a little overzealous with the amount of moisture that I put into this. I probably only needed about 1 cup of broth instead of 2. So fortunately we do have the big bag of bread crusts. So we're just going to add just a few more of those. And mix it again. And that much more dry bread crust will work perfectly for this. Now you're most likely to be able to get bread crusts like this from bakeries or delis where they make those fancy sandwiches, because that's where they cut off crusts and deal with that. So they have all this excess and they sell it in bags for just moments like this. And how are we doing here? Oh yeah, that's sopped up the moisture out of the bottom just nicely. Okay, so now we've got this a good consistency. We're going to treat this just like we would a meatball. And that means that we're going to take a handful of it, put it onto a cookie sheet, which actually I'm going to move this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. And so there we go. We've got little balls of stuffing. And each one of these will be about 1 serving. And of course you can have, people might want more than 1, people might not want any. but it's easy to serve these on a plate when it's all said and done. And after our turkey has finished cooking it while it's resting, this is one of those things that we're going to pop in the oven and just bake for 20-25 minutes to until they're all nicely browned and the egg is solidified everything, and so that you're able to serve them. So even now they're a little bit crumbly when you put them on the cookie sheet. Yeah, very definitely. When I told you to put in two cups of liquid, only put in one. See, this is where it's okay to make mistakes when you're cooking. If you ever watched old Julia Child shows, she'd often go whoops and start over again, or cover something up with whipped cream, I don't know what, but that's all part of the artistry of cooking. Is you have to be willing to be creative, be different. So there we have a lovely tray of individual servings of stuffing. Another nice way about doing the stuffing this way is that suppose you have somebody in your group that is a vegetarian. If instead of using chicken broth, you used a vegetable broth, this would come under the category of a vegetarian type of stuffing. So they get that flavor that they're used to with the sage and the poultry seasoning without actually having any meat product in it. Still has eggs, so it's not going to work for the vegans, but you know, it's something for the family. Another way that we can deal with this, and we're just going to set this over to the stove for the moment, is maybe a little more traditional, where you take a casserole dish and you take, I should have planned this ahead of time, take your remaining stuffing, and even if you put some in the turkey, you're still going to end up with plenty left in the bowl. So we're going to put that into a casserole dish which has been well greased or lubricated, as my saying goes now. There we go. And we didn't end up with very much, but and then you're going to take those giblets that we took out earlier. Now I've had them sitting on a pot and on the stove here, and we'll be able to put the water from this into the gravy later on. But what this is doing is, in this case, this one all we had was the liver and the neck. But we'll pop that. I need a set of tongs to do this with. We'll take the liver and, ooh, this is elusive neck. Come on. There. And just put those bits and nestle them down into the remaining stuffing that we have. And just bake it as a whole like that. And you'd lift out the giblets when you go to serve it, but that's adding extra turkey kind of flavor. So that's an alternate way for cooking your stuffing. And we'll set that aside to put back into the gravy. All right, now there we have them. They're individual serving of stuffing, and they're very handy. Doesn't matter what kind of meal you're having, you can make these. So thank you for joining us again on Hilltop Stovetop. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we look forward to hearing from you again. Do remember to like and to subscribe. You don't want to miss out on any other episodes, like how to roast the turkey and make the gravy, as well as some of those side dishes and a whole lot of other fun things. If there is something that you're interested in learning how to cook, just put it in the comments and we'll see what we can do. Bye-bye for now.